So hey, let's go ahead and start our
We're
typical
hot.
Patreon segment. We're gonna start off hot with brace for debate. You want to do some brace for debate this week?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I said we
Okay.
were going to debate, but I don't remember what, what we were talking about debating, so
Well,
I'm
I
not
sent you I
prepared.
sent you the graphic. I don't know if you got it, but we want to talk about whether or not Impact should send Josh Alexander to New Japan to compete in the G1 tournament. So this was a question that JD brought up to the group. So JD, let's
Go
go
ahead.
ahead and hear your thoughts.
I did say that. This was
Yeah,
my idea.
this was your idea.
I forgot. I so I was thinking about this at lunch today. I'm like, who if I'm Impact? Because I have a hunch that looking at the best of the Super Juniors right now, New Japan has done a great job really leveraging their partnerships to just get new blood. And like for the best Super Juniors, we've got Alex Zane, who's kind of unaffiliated right now. He does some strong stuff, but he's really fresh off WWE. We've got our own Ace Austin. We've got Wheeler Yuta. We've got El Lindemann. They've got Teton. So, I mean, like, there's a lot of new blood in this tournament. It's really made it interesting. So, I'm going to assume that this year for the G1, they're going to do the same thing and really utilize their partnerships. So, I'm thinking if I'm Impact, who do I send? Right.
Yeah.
And I honestly didn't have an answer for this. I threw it to our Brace for Impact group and I said, who would you guys do? And I forget who said it, but they were like, someone said, Josh, our world champion. Was it you that said that?
That was me. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I was like, no, I don't think I would do Josh. So you
Okay.
want me?
So
You go first. Why don't you make the case for Josh, and I'll make the case against Josh.
okay. So I three points for Josh Alexander. If you send him over there with the title, you're going to take the title in front of a brand new audience or an audience that typically wouldn't see Josh Alexander with the championship. Kind of like what we're seeing with the best of the Super Juniors, but the G1 is more coveted and more important and a bigger event than the best of the Super Juniors. So you're gonna send Josh Alexander over and probably not probably in fact the most prestigious tournament in wrestling today. Like the G1 is it. If you get into the G1, you're almost a made man, right? So you send your top star over there to compete against the best in the world, and you're gonna have stars from AEW. You might have some Noah stars in it because there's a relationship there. You're definitely gonna have all the New Japan stars in it, so you're gonna have a lot of big stars. Maybe not Noah because they do their N1 tournament, but I'm just saying a lot of the best wrestlers in the world are gonna be in this tournament,
Someone's
right?
gonna break a hip if you put someone from Noah over there.
Yeah. Well, but wouldn't you like to see Nakajima in the tournament? How
Yes.
cool would that
No,
be?
no, I would not, and I will
Oh,
explain
oh,
why. That is
okay, okay,
that's
well,
my reasoning. But continue.
okay, we'll get to that. Okay, number two, they just had the main event match with Ishii. I think that if you send Josh over there and he loses a couple of matches, you can then bring the guys that beat him in Japan. You can bring a couple of those guys into the States to do rematches and to set up matches for down the road. Kind of like what we just saw with Ace Austin losing to Takahashi. They're already starting the process of setting up a future X Division title match. Now, if that doesn't happen and that's not in the plans, then okay, then maybe there's an argument not to put him there, but that's fine. And then third, you're going to get Josh the opportunity to put on the best matches that he's had in his career. And he's already on a roll right now, starting from last year into this year, where every match he has is a banger. Some of his matches from this year are among the highest rated matches that Dave Meltzer has ever rated for this company in the history of this company. He's already had them. Now you're going to get to put him over in the G1 to where he's actually going to probably break that 5-star threshold, and people are going to start hearing his name in a positive light all over the wrestling world. A lot of people in the industry flock to that G1 to get those 5-star matches. So there's my 3 points. Even if he loses 2 or 3 matches, I think there's only upside for Josh Alexander in the G1.
I don't trust the booking with Josh Alexander because Impact we've talked about before when you have a partnership, you are at the partner's discretion, right? We get the stronger partner's discretion. Impact is not the stronger partner in this. Now, Ace Austin's been booked very, very well,
Very.
but I think the Super Junior is different than the G1, right? And bringing in juniors is different, right? Like no, it's very, very rare for a guy to go from the junior division to the heavyweight division, right? And the junior division is really not ignored, but I mean it's just kind of an afterthought. This tournament's been a lot of fun, but it's more for your hardcore wrestling fan, right? Best Suitor's always been, even in Japan, it's a hardcore wrestling fan. The G1 is the premier thing, and New Japan booking is going to take precedence over that. So no matter what, I don't think he is going to take 2 to 3 losses. I think he's going to take 4 to 5 losses. When they brought Nakajima in 2016, he did okay. Right? He was okay. He was a Noah guy. So, and again, we didn't get this version of Nakajima either, but he wasn't like a threat to win it, right? Moxley, when they came in 2019, came out real hot. He was 5-0 to start and then went on a skid and wound up okay. Like, but by the end of the tournament, he wasn't a threat to win. So I think if you're going to bring Josh in, take the belt off of him. Because I don't think you want to showcase your world champion to a new audience and tell that new audience that this guy is the champion, but he can't beat he can't beat our guys.
Yeah, but in New Japan, isn't it more important, the fighting spirit more important, and the match quality more important over there? I mean, Ishii never wins those things, and he's always among the MVPs of that tournament.
Ishii's always there. Ishii lives there. Ishii is part of that. But Ishii is loved, but he never sniffs a main event. Unless it's like something that's like, oh, you get to main event this night of the G1. Right? He's never been a top guy. That's why there's debate about whether he should go in the Observer Hall of Fame. Because, like, if you just match quality, yes, he's there. But Ishii's not a top guy. I mean, he's not. He has great matches, but he's never going to be a guy who will be a champion. And then if you're going to bring in Josh once and he loses 3-4 matches, if he's not. I mean, they're not going to look at the Impact World title as on level with the IWGP title.
Well, no, and it's not.
Look at Lindemann. Are you gonna like that's they've got the Glates world
Lindemann's
champion.
from GLEAT, right?
GLEAT, yes.
GLEAT.
It's everyone pronounces it wrong. It's like Justin told me this. It's it's supposed to be. I'm trying not to get myself in trouble, but this is what Justin told me. Okay. It's imagine if there was an R instead of an E and L in that word.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say it. I don't want to come off bad, but that's how it's supposed.
Okay.
That's their world champion.
Right.
Is that really doing GLEAT any favors? Now, if you take the title off of Josh, put him over there, and he does all that stuff, fantastic. He will look great. But I think that if you put him as the champion over there, what does that really do for your title?
Well, if they send him over there and they book him the way that Ace Austin's being booked right now, where he's 5-1, he just beat Ishimori today, who is the junior heavyweight champion, right? And he's lost to Takahashi. So,
but it's different. Like they look at a guy like Ace Austin and like, oh, we can use this guy. He doesn't like that. He's a guy who could be a New Japan talent, right?
Right.
And he could, because that's the thing. That is an upward move for him. With Josh, do you want that to be the future of your world champion? Right? Do you want that to be presented as well? This is a guy that can go there full time.
Right.
You don't. You want to keep him. You want to keep him here and keep him strong and keep him the champion of Impact. I think you send Moose.
I think Moose would do very well in that tournament. I really do. Even if he goes 500, I think that
that's fine. Yeah, and he'll be better. But I mean, like you want to, and that's why, like if AEW sends a guy, it's got to either be Danielson or somebody else. Like it won't be Mox because Mox has already done it, and it definitely won't be Hangman or Punk or whoever's the champion at the time.
Sure as hell ain't Kenny.
No, Kenny's got other things on his. That's another story altogether.
Right,
but like they're gonna send a work rate guy, right? Yeah. And that's why it's probably Danielson, because I can't think of any. But I mean, there's a lot of guys that want to, but Danielson is the dude. But I wouldn't send Hangman Page there because Hangman Page there is still a mid card guy, right? And if you send Hangman Page there with the title, the Japanese fans are gonna go, "Oh, I remember him. He used to be never open 6-weight champion."
Yeah.
Right. And that's what Josh is too. Like Josh, they don't know Josh Alexander. The title ain't going to make him over there.
Right. And Josh works New Japan strong.
Strong is different.
But he's not booked strong. He's beaten some lower level guys. He's undefeated there, but he's usually match 1 or match 2 on those shows, even though he's the champion.
When I went to the New Japan Chicago show, he's in the opening 10 man.
Yeah.
right? He's just on Strong. Josh is just a dude. Why? Because he's Impact.
Yeah.
He's
But when
like
Moose goes over there, they put him in a bigger match when Moose is there.
they
They
did
usually do.
because Moose is a guy they can use.
Yeah.
Right? That could be an upward movement for Moose, right? That's different. Like they've already like Josh is the dude. We've said Josh is the dude. And when you have the dude, you got to protect the dude. Right?
Yeah.
How many times can I work that into a sentence? Like I
You should
just
watch Big Lebowski after this. Sorry.
I think I might. Like I just don't I think, and again, if Josh, I'm not saying they're not going to do it. I'm saying like I don't know if it's the right move to do it with if he's got the title. Right?
Yeah.
I think you got to protect your title, especially the Impact World title, because you're still rehabbing the company. Right? You want your champion. I'm a firm believer that you want your world champion to seem unbeatable. Right? Especially like if he's going to go to New Japan, right? He's got to have a big match.
Oh yeah.
A big match. He has to be presented like a big deal. Strong, I don't think like if they're going to have a guy from if they're going to have a strong American talent in that tournament, it's going to be Tom.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
It's going to be. Tom's the star of the show. Right? And now you got that strong title off of Tom Filthy, so he can take some losses here and there and he'll look great doing it. He's got the fighting background, so he'll be perfect. Like Strong is really like Tom and Fred Rosser's show. Right? It's not Josh's. So I mean, that's you see what I'm saying? Like we've already got a precedent set over here. Bring in the guy they don't know very well. Because one, they're going to look at Moose and they're going to be like, holy geez, look at this guy. He's going to stand out. He's super athletic. He's way better in the ring than anybody gives him credit for. Like,
oh yeah.
Moose could be like a career defining performance for Moose.
Man, I hate to admit this, but you might have changed my mind.
Goddamn.
Because just thinking of Moose in that tournament could do wonders for Moose, because even the people that continually want to hold his past against him, they will probably even, some of them won't come around, but a lot of them are like, well, look how amazing this guy is. He has this hanging over his head, but he's still fantastic, right? And so they'll get to see him in a different light, which
I agree. And I think both companies win if it's Moose. Like I do think that because let's be honest, what has typically gotten over with the Japanese audience, they like the big American guys, always have, right? And there's not a lot of guys that look like Moose over there. There aren't.
No, that can go like Moose.
That's the thing. Like Moose, he looks kind of like a Tony Atlas type physically, right? But he's so much better. Like he's so good.
A million times more athletic than Atlas ever.
Absolutely. I think he could blow away those fans because they appreciate match quality.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that if Moose is put in that situation, he could really, really be somebody at the end of it and really get because again, we're talking about Impact, man. We do an Impact show. We know that Moose is really good. I don't think a lot of people really get that. Like, I think Moose's past really defines him a lot to our circle of wrestling fans. And, say what you want about that. I can't speak to that. I don't know what it is. But I think that, like you said, if you have a rehabilitation project, like let's say the Tessa Blanchard thing worked before, and it could have changed people's opinions, right? She made sure that was not to happen.
Yeah, she let everybody know she's not ready to improve. So.
Moose does business, man.
Yeah, he does.
Moose does business. I think that if I were Impact and I could send one guy, I would keep the belt on Josh and I would send Moose. And you also get to build Moose back up to re-challenge Josh, because that is a feud that you can always go back to.
Yeah. Well, I think you made some very good points, and I would love to see Moose in the G1.
I'm going to, now that we're doing a video show that apparently isn't live, I'm going to make a brace for debate graphic for the next time.
Oh, yes. And we don't need to force the debate, but if we have something that as we talk about throughout the week, if we have something that we know we're probably going to be opposite on, we'll stop the conversation right then and there, and then we'll do a brace for debate. We'll save it, brace for debate.
Brace for debate. I love it.